Folks, my name is Kimmy Robinson and I am the founder of Keep Real, which is a business for social change and purpose. And we support better mental health in the community through creative, accessible interventions. So that is our live music shows, bringing musicians, local makers and artists together under one roof, talking about mental health. We also have a podcast that just launched a couple of months ago, sharing people's stories, and also our art therapy inspired workshops too. I also freelance on some lovely health and wellbeing campaigns and have worked with people like NHS Leeds, Mind, Twitter, Sky, to name a few. So hopefully my experiences personally and professionally will help in understanding why our mental health is just so important and it needs a little bit more TLC in the old lockdown. So what will I be sharing with you this evening? So what will I be discussing? So I'll be sharing my experiences in lockdown, which won't take too long. I won't bore you with the details. It has been wobbly, not going to lie. I want to share with you some art therapy inspired ideas to cope during lockdown. These are fantastic ways to reflect therapeutically and just to check in with yourself, just for 5 minutes a day or 5 minutes a week, whatever time you have. This is a really great way to explore how you feel creatively. And then I just want to end with some resources, and also I've missed a bullet point, free flow writing, so we're just going to talk a little bit about that as well. So here are some art therapy inspired ideas that I love to do in my workshops, but I love to do them personally as well. It takes 5 minutes, if that. So these are a great way to explore how we feel and just build resilience in how we are coping. So with the self-soothing images technique, this is a great way to understand the sensory experiences, whether it is music, whether it is birds singing outside of your window, objects that are in your room, your favourite taste, your favourite smells and scents. It's about listing down what brings you joy, what brings you happiness. And when we see it written down, it can validate the things that we do have and feeling that sense of gratitude. So this is a great technique just to write down some lovely things that make you feel good. Sometimes we don't give ourselves enough time to do that. So I do recommend it. It's a lovely one. So for example, for me in my room right now, let's have a gander. We've got my lovely little plants. I've just repotted them and I'm really dead chuffed with them. So that would be on my self-soothing images board if I wanted to make one, or just my list. I've got, what have I got? Oh, my City in Colour poster from 2014. That has been with me through uni. And yeah, that brings me joy because I loved that gig too. So there are different things that you can do. It's up to you how you do it. And that one out of the 3 that is listed on here is my favourite one. Also, what I'd like to say, I have here, collaging is cool. Yes, it is. But for some people, collaging feels like a little bit of an artsy taboo word. Collaging could be anything that you want it to be. Ripping, sticking, it doesn't matter how you do it. I love to use this with old newspapers and just, it's a way of, well, recycling what I have already. So even if that's old Elle magazines or weird stuff like bike magazines that you don't really look at, it's about exploring how you feel through collage. But also you can do it in different themes too. So it could be my joy collage, or my maybe you want to explore something a little bit more challenging. So what does sadness look like to you? What brings you pain? And trying to work through that in a more visual way. It really does help if you find it hard to verbalize how you feel. So I recommend doing that in your own time. And as well, when we do collaging, if you are wanting to challenge yourself a little bit, know that there are loads of lovely helplines out there, but also if you would like a little bit of a touch and base, then please feel free to email me if you want to do things like that. But also I do recommend that you talk to someone after your collaging if it is something that you find a little bit difficult. And what I'd like to do is something that is really easy. It takes 5 minutes. So what I'd like you to do is grab a piece of paper and a pen, whatever you can find, be resourceful, as I'm sure we all have been during lockdown, making that millennial banana bread and doing some lovely arts and crafts. So if you grab a piece of paper and a pen, what I'd like to explore is the free flow writing. So this is a great way to get out of a creative block, but also it's a really therapeutic way of understanding what we're going through and exploring feelings and thoughts right now. So I have some lovely little prompts. Here we are. So I did this workshop yesterday, and this was about lockdown is making me feel. So what I'd like you to do with your lovely pen, pencil, colour, crayon, whatever you have, I'd like you to pick one of these beginnings of sentences and write it down. And I want to give you 5 minutes to just free flow. Whatever happens after that sentence, it doesn't have to be a coherent paragraph. It can be just words that come to mind when we're thinking about today or lockdown or your week that you've had. So today I am feeling what? And just explore that. Whatever comes to mind, you write it down. And this is a great technique to be a little bit more self-aware and a bit more reflective on what is happening right now for you. Sometimes it can surprise you with what you write down. For me, when I'm having a bad day, it really helps to validate and understand what is going on in my little noggin. For me, verbalizing how I feel can be a little bit hard. Sometimes I don't really know how to express it. So this is a great technique. And I've found that the participants that do this often feel a lot more calm and a bit more resilient in how they can cope. So I'm going to leave you with that. If you do struggle all with this, try do a mind map. So put today I am feeling or this week has been, and just writing down some key words that have come to mind too. So whatever you want to do with this, it is to your expression and your creativity. There is no right or wrong in this. And what I'd like to end on, folks, is my top resources. But these are just my favourite books that I love to read, not only in lockdown, but all year round. I love dipping in and out of these. So what do we have? I've got them here. Would you look at that? So I have Notes on a Nervous Planet. So this is by Matt Haig. He is an amazing mental health writer. This is a great book to dip in and out of. So I've actually got some, check that out. I've got some little pins in here. So I've just folded some of the bits of paper in different chapters of my favourite things. So it really helps when someone writes about mental health. It's that feeling of like, oh, me too, it's not just me. So this book is fantastic for that. I also have here Depression in the Digital Age by Fiona Thomas. We've actually just interviewed her for the Keep Real pod, and it's been wonderful to talk to her about her first book, which I have here. This is in association with Trigger Books. So they are the voice of mental health, and some of the profits go to the Shaw Mind Foundation. This is a great book about social media and mental health and how social media actually helped her with her depression. So great book. Her second book comes out soon, and it is called Out of Office, and it's about freelancing and mental health. So perfect. Okie dokie, what else we got? We've got Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker. That's not the right book. I was going to show you the next one. So this one here, it had a powerful effect for me when reading this book about the fact that society doesn't allow us to sleep as much, and it blew me away. And the way that he articulates sleep and science and things like that, it just puts it in a way that we can all understand. And to be honest, this book, it changed my life, and that sounds really dramatic, but I can't recommend it enough. And yeah, there is not much more to say other than I'm speechless about this book and I love it. I also have here Lost Connections by Johan Hari. So he explores the mental health crisis and mentally ill health, not just being from biology, but also in the way that we're living now. So he comes up with, I think, what is it here? He has, is it 9 ways? Yeah, 9 different causes of mentally ill health. And this book is brilliant and I can't recommend it enough. I can't recommend all my books enough. And this one here is great for young people. So this is the Looking After Your Mental Health book by Alice James and Louis Stowell. So it talks about our emotions and how mental health impacts everything else we do. But also it talks about things like oxytocin and serotonin and what does that mean in the human body and what does that do to us. So really good, and it's got fantastic resources for young people too. So I'm going to say it again, I can't recommend it enough. So those are my big stack of books. I also recommend you to check out these books in secondhand stores, local businesses. So supporting local is a big thing, and you should be doing it all the time. So yeah, I've put down some links to the bottom of my presentation from worldofbooks.com and usedbooksearch.co.uk, so you can find those there. So hopefully my lovely presentation on mental health will help you feel a little bit more like you need a bit more TLC, and you now have the tools to do it. If you need anything at all, I'm always here. Over on Twitter, more likely looking at Matt Haig ranting about mental health and other things. So please go check out also keepreal.co.uk. We're actually redesigning our website and making it more accessible and friendly for people. So yeah, please do check us out on social media too. So yeah, thanks so much for having me, folks.